You're about to watch me rant about an obscure Garten of Banban character for longer than what's healthy. Okay, today we're talking about the origin of Zolphius. Oh wait, this is where we started. Oh my gosh, what the heck is that? Zolphius is a mysterious character, even though I'm pretty sure, the second most seen character in the game. He appears in the following: Garten of Banban 2, Garten of Banban 3, Garten of Banban 4, and 6 in the dream that Stinger Flynn gives to us. So he appears in all this game. The first one is probably Banban.
Hello? Anybody in there? It's your friend, Banban.
I think he appears in all but number 1. And we don't know anything about him except that he has a giant head and that he exists in the deep. And the only cartoon we've seen of him is him on that villain wall with Shamataki and Chamataki, Syringin, Bitter Giggle, and the singing monster. So that's what we have. But he's appeared in all these games, so he's clearly important, and clearly the Euphoric Brothers want us to become comfortable with the character because they have something planned with him, but we know nothing about him. He's only said, in all of his games, he's only said one line, and that is, "I'm sorry," but he said it in Spanish. And also, this isn't directly linked to Zolphius that we know of right now, but this is what we know. This side's what we know. This side's the theories. So we're going to I'm gonna take you on a journey. Close your eyes. Come on with me. Or open your eyes, because there's gonna be footage right here. In Garten of Banban 6, after you disable the first red lock and turn it green, and you parkour on the thingamabobs, the metal pipes, you end up in the attic area, which is what I'm going to call it. And it's like a dormitory for clearly someone, because there's a table, there's a bed, and it seems very isolated. Right when you walk in there, you're going to pick up a couple of these 2 gears that you need. But after you pick them up, you get jump scared by a witch-looking creature. But I'm pretty sure that it's just a naughty one, though I'm not too sure what it is because it seems like a little bit out of place. But it may or may not just be a naughty one. But you get jump scared by what I'm assuming is a her, and then you have to go back up there, and the gear you picked up at that table, that gear is replaced with a book. And when you look closely on the book, it says English, Spanish, or Espanol, Ingles, or does it? I don't know. Dictionary. And that's it. So it is an empty dormitory. It's extremely isolated, and it was clearly a housing for someone they didn't want to interact with anyone. Because you could even see that room's not just isolated. If you look at the area surrounding it, like the camp that we stay at, or even all the light post area and all that other stuff, there's no one there. The naughty ones are there, but that's just because Queen Celia laughed. Before that place is completely empty. Okay, we didn't see any boss fights. We didn't see anyone. So there was an entire facility. Think about it. Garten of Banban 6 is a decently sized game compared to the other Garten of Banban. And that whole area we spent time in is completely shut down. And all we know is that there was one person living there who needed an English-Spanish translation dictionary. Who is that? In the second, I'm going to show the clip right now. The second I read that, I was like, Zolphius. What does that say? Espanol English Dictionary. Zolphius. Because Zolphius is the only person we know speaks Spanish. And I would be shocked I'd be shocked if that had nothing to do with Zolphius. Also, there's no other dormitories or no other rooms or no other... Oh, there is that one house in the camp area that we never entered. The door's shut. I do not know what that is, but that's closed off. Then there's that one area with the statues that we first see Sir Dadadu attack Banban. That area, Banban says, this place seems familiar, but there's no reason I should have ever been here before.
Seems really familiar, but I'm not sure where I could have ever seen something like this.
And when you actually, pay attention to what the rooms that you have to travel to solve the puzzles and advance the game, what they're actually called, you start to see connections. There's the initiation room. There's the, something like a recruitment room or programming room. These rooms, I think this is where they're bringing in either full-grown adults or what I think in Zolphius' case, children. They're bringing them here. They're brainwashing them with that video that we see in the chair room that we had to hide from Sir Dadadu from. That initiation video plays. And then you also see that one waiting room area where we see the two halves of the Jester clones kick each other. That room, it looks like it's like a room, you're waiting there, and then they bring you in and they talk to you, then they show you the video in the other room. And you see all these pieces, it's almost like they're recruiting on people to experiment on them, to turn them into the monsters that we see throughout the series. Now, who are the people doing the experiments? I don't know. Is it a government thing? Is it a private thing? Why do they pretend it's a preschool unless they're using the children? Where are the children? Next. Theory time. I dropped my pen. Theory time. Child Zolphius, so the child that would turn into Zolphius, was taken and experimented on while being a child. That is the overarching theory. Zolphius was a child living in captivity, a Spanish child, hence Spanish-English dictionary, and was living in that dormitory as a captive. Next. Let's see, what's next? Okay. That creature that we see in the teasers on Steam, if you look, for Garten of Banban 5, that is Zolphius. People were debating because it kind of looks like Zolphius, it kind of doesn't. People have said he's Benito. I do not know where that name comes from. I'm pretty sure the YouTuber Dak Black, who has some street cred because he voiced Dak Black, the house where they're kicking Jester things.
I think that's Dak Black and someone else.
He came up with that name, I'm pretty sure, but I do not know where that name
They just killed themselves.
So if that goes against my theory, and I don't know if it holds any value or any weight, I'm just gonna say I don't believe it. I'm an anti-Benito. That is a younger version of Zolphius, going from child to that creature in 5 to full-fledged Zolphius that we see today. And you see that guy, he has a semi-normal body for a child, and then his neck and head area is just so large. Never seen Zolphius' body. Very freaking interesting. Very freaking interesting. I don't have an answer for it. Wrong, I do have an answer for it. The experimentation kept his body the relatively same size, but his neck and head grew so large. So that's why he's in the pit. He's in the pit and he can't move, so that's why he just stands there and he says, I'm sorry. He's just sitting in a pit of self-guilt. It's kind of poetic. Next. So, can I read backwards? Zolphius was turned... No. Yeah. Zolphius was being turned into a monster and ended up killing almost everybody. So Zolphius was turned into that monster, and he killed everyone, as we saw in his, I'm just gonna call it Benito because that's that form of him. So before he was too giant, and before he was banished to the pit, he was killed everyone, or almost everyone, and that's why he's sorry. That's why he's banished to the pit, and that's why that seems like it's a forbidden memory. And also, he was in the daycare we saw. If you look at the pictures, I made a whole. I'm gonna tag it right here. It's the missing game video I made on Banban. I go over that whole thing. There's also other videos you can watch, or you can just go to Steam yourself. But I think I did a pretty good job summarizing everything. So I think that is Zolphius before he turned so giant that we see him in the modern game. He ended up killing one in the daycare, or trapping them in the pit. So whoops. Next. We already went over that. Only his head and neck can move. He was sent to captivity in the pit, and now he is just a monster living there, and we don't know what we're going to do next with that character. We saw him in the dream of this one, and that dream was interesting because it was him in he was in the background, and then you had the bus, and then the bus kidnapped Captain Fiddles, and I think hit Nab. Yeah, hit Nab. And